Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Brent Venables, the Oklahoma Sooners, go out to the 2026 class and land their quarterback of the future in four-star quarterback Jaden O'Neal from the state of California. Now, not only am I a massive fan of this cat, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the 2026 cycle, a lot of Power 5 programs across the country certainly agree with me as well. You take a look at the offer sheet. I don't know if there's a Power 5 program in the country that wasn't going after Jaden O'Neal. You look at Ohio State, you look at Oregon, a plethora of premium programs across the country, and you look at Jaden O'Neal, and it's not really hard to understand why this was one of the most coveted arms that you see in the 2026 class. Effortlessly pushes the ball down the field. And one of the conversations that we've had with this Oklahoma offense over the last couple of months is kind of the difference between Dillon Gabriel and Jackson Arnold. And one of the primary differences being there's not a throw that you can't ask a guy like Jackson Arnold to make in this Oklahoma offense versus Dillon Gabriel. I'm a massive fan of him. Think he's a very good quarterback at the collegiate level. There were certain throws on the football field that you weren't going to ask him to make because he didn't have the juice in his arm to make those throws. You look at Jaden O'Neal, you take a look at the film and say, there's not a throw on the football field that Jaden O'Neal can't make. You take a look at this Oklahoma quarterback room. Jackson Arnold, Mike Hawkins, Kevin Sperry, now Jaden O'Neal in the 2026 class. This is going to be one of the most talented quarterback rooms that we see in the country for the next couple of years. I think it's fair to say the quarterback play in Norman, Oklahoma, as they go into the SEC is going to be extremely good. Fired up to get into the film. Before we do, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Oklahoma fans that have been rocking with the fellas in the middle of June, talking the recruiting trail. I can't thank you guys enough. It is something I absolutely love to do, and the support you guys show, it means the absolute world. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Jaden O'Neal. Let's talk about the productivity as a sophomore in high school. Threw for over 2,400 yards, 27 touchdowns, and this kid has an absolute hose on him. I mean, I don't know if you see a better deep ball in the 2026 class than Jaden O'Neal. You take a look at the film, and it's kind of easy to see why he was kind of a program favorite in this 2026 cycle. This first rep, I mean, kind of flat-footed, throwing the ball 50 yards in the air, dropping it in an absolute bucket. Not only he can throw the football a country mile, he is extremely accurate when he's pushing the ball down the field, opposite hash to the pylon of the end zone, putting that ball exactly where you need to put it. Now, you see quarterbacks like Joe Milton from Tennessee last year that, hey, they can throw the football a long way, but they're not dialed in with the accuracy pushing the ball down the field. Jaden O'Neal, I mean, consistently dropping it in the bucket, and it's all over the film. This is a guy that just can really rip it wherever you want that football, always accurate, hitting his wide receivers in stride. Again, I don't know if you're going to see somebody throw the deep ball better. This is just like flat-footed, opposite hash to the boundary. I'm going to drop it in a bucket. There is not much separation. There's one spot this ball can go, and Jaden O'Neal puts it right on the hands of his wide receiver. The film is extremely exciting. Now, another thing to note, pocket awareness, I mean, they're going to label it. This is something that's really impressive for a young quarterback, right? Not only does Jaden O'Neal have the arm talent, this is a guy that, in terms of managing the pocket, like keeping your eyes downfield, extending the play, and then delivering the shot. I mean, that is stuff that you don't see often from sophomores in high school. So, and we know it better than anybody. I mean, you look at this, didn't pick up the blitz, linebacker right in his face, two guys right in his face, buys a little time, gets the ball out, turns a 10-yard loss into a 10-yard gain. A lot of times we like to talk about the arm talent with quarterbacks, and you make no mistake about it. It's very important. What's between the ears of these quarterbacks is also very important. And you kind of think that Jaden O'Neal kind of blends that elite arm talent with some really, really good feel for this sport as well. Kind of make some plays, play a little backyard football, which you absolutely love. And I think another thing that you're going to see on the film is him throwing with some anticipation into some tight windows. I mean, there are some NFL caliber throws that Jaden O'Neal makes, not only managing the pocket, but throwing his receivers in the throwing windows, being dialed in the red zone. These are the type of plays that, again, it's his opposite hash to that kind of pylon throw, putting it right on the money. You continue to work through the film and say he is, I mean, throwing this football before the wide receiver gets out of his break. Wide receiver turns around, that football's hitting him right in the face mask, allowing his wide receiver to get upfield. And again, the arm talent is really what's special with Jaden O'Neal, but the way this kid is wired, the way he operates in offense, that's kind of what fires me up the most, because he's kind of blending being wired the right way between the ears. This is probably the most impressive throw on the film, I should say. And that's saying a lot. I mean, there's no throwing window here. He has to throw his wide receiver open. The throwing window is not really there in the red zone. I mean, drops it in the bucket, routinely making some excellent throws. I think this is a massive get for this Oklahoma program. And again, you look at the quarterback room that's going to be in Norman, Oklahoma for the next couple of years going into the SEC. It's going to be dynamite. Massive pickup. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.